South Korea and U.S. have increased alert levels in anticipation of a missile launch by North Korea. I'm Deborah Kahn. Joining me now is Daniel Pinkston, who is from the think tank International Crisis Group. Okay, Daniel, just going to put this out there. Would you say that we're in crisis mode in North Korea right now, given the situation?
Well, tensions are high. I wouldn't say it's a crisis that's on the verge of war, that war is going to break out this week. We live with the threat or possibility of miscalculation or some inadvertent escalation along the DMZ or the Northern Limit Line, which is the maritime boundary. These days, maybe the risk has increased somewhat, and I would argue that the escalation ladder has been shortened significantly. But all parties wish to avoid war. North Korea is not planning any kind of invasion or imminent attack against its neighbors. So I think some of the media they exaggerate the nature of the situation.
Okay, and there's been reports that North Korea has moved at least one mid-range missile to the east coast of the country. So do you believe that, although you're saying war isn't imminent, that there will be a missile launch again, or multiple for that matter?
There very well could be. I wouldn't be surprised. The Korean People's Army has been conducting a large-scale exercise over the past month or so, including their strategic rocket forces. So they've been driving around these mobile missiles, and that gives them an opportunity to train, the command and control. The personnel get to operate the systems. They get to drive them around. Now, whether or not they get up to the point where they want to fire one, that's for the leadership to decide. There are a couple of reasons why they would want to test fire a missile. For technical reasons, you want to test them occasionally to see if they're reliable. If you're developing a new missile, you need to test it for reliability. And second and third thing is the political statement. So if they wish to make a political statement, especially now, I think they would want to flight test a missile that they are very confident it will work. That's why I'm somewhat skeptical that they would launch this new so-called Musudan missile, which is untested. It would be a political embarrassment for them if, in fact, they were to test it and it failed. But we'll see. Maybe they'll surprise us. If they do test that, I would expect them to test other systems as well. And that's what we've seen moving around on the East Coast, Scuds and no-dome missiles as well.
So what's the imminent danger? I mean, there seems to be a lot of fear, or most of the fear which surrounds whether or not something could possibly go wrong. So not a direct attack, but I mean, if they are firing off these missile launches, what is the percentage of chance that it could go horribly wrong and nearby countries like Japan, like South Korea could be impacted?
Well, the probability is low that one of the missiles could hit a ship or an aircraft or go off course and land on South Korean territory or Japanese territory or Chinese or Russian territory for that matter. In that case, of course, it would be very, very problematic. That's why I think they will be cautious, and that maybe they're unlikely to test this untested system now. But we'll see what the calculus is in Pyongyang. If they really want to send a political signal, this would be the time to do it. I think there's a short window of opportunity now for them to do that. But considering the other types of lethal things that they could do and that they have done in the past, I don't think this is something to get terribly excited about. But nevertheless, as they perfect these systems, it enhances their capabilities. There are also proliferation concerns. They can sell these systems and the technologies to other states or even non-state actors. So that's what we'll have to continue monitoring in the future.
Okay, and just very briefly, I want to get your thoughts. There's a theory out there that this is actually North Korea's way of trying to talk to the U.S. I know there's probably better means of doing so, but in the end, they don't want war. They actually want engagement. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, you can read my blog piece on this I wrote a couple days ago, kind of explain this, but I think it's part of coercive bargaining game. They want to establish a new status quo whereby the world recognizes them as a nuclear state, and that would mean accepting them, lifting the sanctions, and dismantling the sanctions regime. No more Security Council resolutions when they bolster their nuclear deterrent because it's their sovereign right. And I just think that's going nowhere. If they want to talk about maintaining the status quo, fulfilling their commitments that they've made in the past, there are a number of channels for them to talk. They've decided not to pick up the phone, and they've cut all of their communication links, or most of them now. They've burned their bridges. So not negotiating is a negotiating strategy. They've taken that step.
Daniel Pinkston joining us from Seoul. For more on that story, you can go to WSJ.com. We'll be keeping an eye on this situation and keeping you up to date. I'm Deborah Kahn.